Thomas Delauer and Greg O'Gallagher, that rhymes, claim that walking is the king for fat loss, but there's something that these fitness influencers I don't think consider a lot of the times. So let's hear what they have to say.
Yep, so here's what I'll say. One, if you want to get lean, nutrition has to be dialed. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet. Now, once you have nutrition dialed, walking can literally turn you into a fat-burning machine.
Very true. A lot of people go into losing weight or something like that, and they don't understand how calories work and go for walks and stuff, but they don't lose weight, or maybe their weight just stays the same, or it could even go up because you start eating more because you're burning more calories. You got to understand the diet. Otherwise, you're not going to lose weight no matter how much you exercise.
If you can just start walking more, you will get lean a lot faster. In fact, walking burns a moderate amount of calories. You're not gonna burn as much as running, but it doesn't increase your hunger, it doesn't deplete your recovery abilities. And so if you can just train yourself and just learn to just walk daily, I actually recommend 10,000 steps is a good starting point, 12,000 is really good, and 14 is, I find, when you really become that fat burning machine and just the fat melts off, as long as you have your nutrition dialed. And
okay, we hear all these steps. How many steps is that? In general, around 2,000 steps is a mile. So 10,000 steps minimum, that's 5 miles. When I was training for a bodybuilding show, I did walk 5 miles every day for the last few weeks because that is an easy way to kill more calories without getting really hungry. But for the average person, talking about 12,000, 14,000 calories, how long does that take? In general, when I'm just out walking around, like I'm in China right now, walking around the city, it's about 3 miles per hour that I'm walking. So if you go out and walk, if you're walking intentionally, you can get up to 4, but you're probably gonna start sweating a little bit. But just saying with 3, you're talking about a minimum of an hour and a half of walking to get that 10,000 steps. And getting up to 14,000, you're looking at 2 to 3 hours of walking as you're getting up there. So how many people, let me know in the comments, have an extra 2.5 hours to just walk every day to be a fat burning machine? And for me, I'm sure they're wearing something that's tracking their steps, so it's like total steps throughout the day. So if you're just walking around the office or something like that, that's tracking it. But I'm talking about just intentional walking. Like if I'm going out to walk, I'm walking 3 miles right now or whatever it may be. So that's gonna take a lot of extra time.
And the cool thing with walking is people think, oh, I gotta get 10,000 steps a day, it's gonna take all the time, 12,000. You can make walking very, very functional. You can either walk with a friend, so get that social benefit. You can take a work call, business call on the phone. Sometimes, just to get in the winter in Canada, just to get my steps in, I'll call someone on my team, or I'll call a friend, and I'll just walk in circles in my kitchen, just to kind of finish off my steps. So walking can be very, very beneficial. You can also walk and learn. You can listen to an audiobook, you can listen to a podcast, you can be listening to us talking right now and walking.
It's a good point. If you can get it in there, it depends on what kind of job you have. Let me know in the comments what kind of job you have and if incorporating walking is an easy thing to do. For me, I'm flying airplanes. I could be on a flight for like 12-hour flight, so I'm not gonna be walking on the flight. I guess I could get up and go to the bathroom and walk back and forth in an area like the width of this room, but that's unrealistic because I kind of have to be up in the seat to fly the plane. And then I land, I've got time now because when I'm not home, I fly somewhere, I sit here and wait till my next flight so I can go to the gym. I just worked out, I walked 2 miles in the gym as well, a mile warm up, and I just did another mile after I finished. I'm about to go swim when the pool opens here in a bit just because I have extra time to do that, but that's not always the case. My wife right now is back at home with 6 kids. It is not easy for her to just go take a walk whenever she wants. And you could say, oh, that's just excuses, but we have a 9-month-old, so it actually is easy to stick him in the stroller, push him around. He might fall asleep and nap in the stroller. But then we've got a 3-year-old, and she typically wants to go too, which is cool, but then she walks really slow, or she gets on her tiny little bike and then gets tired of it, and then we end up having to figure out where to stow that, and then she walks really slow. So you can walk with them, but getting that amount of steps is gonna take a lot longer of a time that you don't have. The kids aren't gonna go walk for 2+ hours. So I'm all about, people make time for what's important to them, but there's also logistical problems when you do have a lot of kids. But you can run into logistical issues when you have things like a 9-to-5 job that you don't have a whole lot of time outside of that, or you have a lot of kids, or you combine those things together and you wanna spend time with your family and not just get home and be like, I'm gonna go walk for 2.5 hours. See you later so I can be a fat burning machine.
Traveling, it's amazing to walk and explore a new city. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors on average walked 16 to 17,000 steps a day. They were walking machines. And so
that kind of stuff always cracks me up. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors walked 15,000 steps a day. Yeah, our hunter-gatherer ancestors also didn't care about trying to get jacked and lean. They're trying to survive, right? So, whatever.
Walk. And it makes a powerful difference. And I've tested it where I've gotten lean, I've walked more, I've walked less, and it makes such a important improvement, but that's not really it. Walking, like if you kind of track your mood, you actually feel so much better when you get outside and you get the steps in.
Look, don't get me wrong. I think walking is a great thing to do as well. Like, it is good for you. It's good to get outside. It's good to move. And it is an easy way to burn calories. You're not like eating food while you're doing it, so it's keeping you occupied. But purposely walking that amount of steps every day isn't realistic for everyone. If you're single, yeah, like this dude, he has videos of himself like getting out of bed with a girl in the bed next to him, and he's just going out and do what he wants in this mansion and his nice cars, and he just goes to the gym. Like, these influencers, like, this is their literal job. Like, it's all you have to do is to look good, and guys want to look like you, and you're making millions of dollars off of it. But most people aren't in that situation, and they're just struggling to get by. Don't necessarily have the time to just go walk forever.
You get outside, you get like 12,000 steps a day. You have to program in the walking. It actually burns a lot more calories than people think if you get the correct amount of steps.
Oh, totally, man. And people will bag because they'll say it doesn't burn as many calories as running. Okay, that is absolutely true. But
if I had to choose, I don't have a lot of time. For example, say you're the 9 to 5 person, you have a family, you're going home, you're helping your kids with homework, you're having dinner, you're doing something with the family. Like, we go on walks. We have a pool in our neighborhood. It's about a half mile away, and I typically will be like, hey, let's go walk to the pool. So you walk a mile there and back, but that's what, 2,000 steps, and we go swimming. We're doing stuff together. So if you're wanting to work out, you're having to get up early to do that in the morning before work probably, or you're going right after work and then getting home and doing those other things. You got to sleep sometime in there too. What's more important for losing fat, sleep or walking? Like, I'm not gonna stay up when I'm dead tired to walk an extra 5 miles because it's gonna help me burn fat, but then I'm gonna be dead tired. Like, that's gonna hurt you in the long run for burning fat and just being more healthy. So get a good amount of sleep, and then I want to build a muscular foundation. So hitting the gym and doing resistance training for like an hour. I do an hour to like an hour and a half almost every single day because I enjoy it. And then the cardio comes after that. Like, I have a specific day for cardio. I do legs, push, pull, and then 4th day's cardio, then do it again. And when he's talking about you burn less, yeah, so I could go walk for an hour. I'm gonna burn like 300 to 350 calories walking around 3 miles. Or I can go in that same hour and go swim in the pool like I'm about to do and burn like 700 to 800 calories. Now, you are gonna get more hungry. Like, I am noticeably more hungry the days I do that. But if you're also aware of that, just know, hey, I don't have to eat more food just because I'm more hungry. Like, just make sure I don't start binging just because I feel more hungry. Like, just like any diet, you just have to have a little bit of control over your mind, and it's not that big a deal. So let's skip ahead and see what they have to say with easy ways to get more steps in.
Further away from the entrance of a store, right? Like, people don't realize how much that adds up real quick. Like, if you're going to Target and you're parking at the edge of the parking lot compared to trying to find the closest spot, like, you literally might have just gotten yourself 1,000 steps round trip.
It's a very, very good one. I haven't done this, but I know.
I do that quite often. I park furthest away for multiple reasons, just to move more. I walk with the kids. I usually park near one of the buggy things so I can put my groceries in and put the buggy right away, the ones that are at the end of the parking lot. But also, no one parks out there, so it's less likely that my car is going to get messed up.
I know a lot of my clients and stuff, they'll buy a walking desk, and they'll have the walking desk. I haven't done it, but like, they'll crush steps super easily. The one thing I recommend doing is write down, pen to paper, or you can write down on your phone when you're gonna get in that walk every day.
I think that is a good thing to try out. If you can get a walking desk, if you can afford it, and you're in the type of environment where you can do that, go for it, because that is an easy way to just keep moving while you're doing stuff. Like, I try to look for opportunities to move more. When I'm in an airport, I'll just walk the whole time between flights. Like, I went to Atlanta one time to get on a flight to Alaska or something, and my flight delayed. I was already gonna walk about 3 miles before the flight left, so then all right, I'll just keep walking. It delayed an hour, and then I was up to like 5.5 miles, and then when I was about to walk to the gate, delayed another hour. I ended up walking 9 miles, and gave me something to do. I was listening to podcasts, coming up with ideas for videos, but that's not something that happens all the time. But if you're able to, yeah, find ways to move more.
Another thing that I would recommend people do is, like, when you mention your schedule, think about, like, if you've got a call that's coming up. First of all, I've tested this time and time again. Granted, like, as a business owner, I can be a little bit more like flexible with this, but like, people schedule a Zoom call. You don't need to see my face. You know what? Like, I know it's a Zoom and I know everyone wants to see everybody, but we don't need to do that. So video is off, you're on my phone and you're in my pocket, and I'm talking to you and we're doing the Zoom call while I'm walking. And that way, try it out. You've got Zoom calls scheduled, all right? Or if you have the ability to schedule your own Zoom calls, schedule them at a time when it's convenient for you to go for a walk.
I usually do that too. If I want to talk to someone or plan on talking to someone on the phone, I'll usually go for a walk or something, just because I don't like just sitting and doing nothing. I like to get out and move and do something, and talking to someone, especially if you can actually go for a walk with someone and talk, that's nice. But catch up with people on the phone, that works out.
You hit 2 birds, 1 stone. So that's kind of the main thing with walking. You want to hit 2 birds, 1 stone. Either you do a work call, you socialize with a friend, you learn, and if you do any of those 3, then you're hitting 2 birds, 1 stone.
And if you have kids, or if you don't have kids, you can be a weirdo, just go by yourself. I have found I was never a theme park person, and I'm still not particularly don't really care about the theme park itself. But since having kids, going to Disneyland or Disney World, I will knock out sometimes 30,000 steps.
Jesus.
And it's I think my record is 29,000 steps at Disney World one day. And it was
So yeah, I would say walking is a great form of cardio because it's not difficult. You will burn a whole lot more calories. You're not going to be eating while you're doing it. It's not necessarily going to make you more hungry, and it gives you something to do, but it is dependent on your schedule. Saying 14,000 steps every day is going to make you a fat burning machine. You're looking at 2+ hours every day of walking. And yeah, again, that's mixed in with these guys tracking all their steps. I don't do that. I intentionally walk. If I'm going to do cardio, it's outside of what I normally do. I'm not going to count the steps I'm already doing. So maybe if he said the baseline is 5,000 steps, he's talking about adding 10,000 steps on top of that, which is an hour and a half or so. So it's not quite as much, but still, it's a lot of time. And these guys, their life revolves around trying to get people to buy their programs to watch them. They look jacked and fit, and you want to look like them, and so they got to look the part, and that's what they're getting paid for, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think a lot of times these guys forget that the average person's life is not like that. They forget what it may have been like for them 10+ years ago when they were maybe in the same situation before they got successful in doing this. I remember listening to Thomas Delauer one time talking about sleep and how important it is, which it is, but he said if he goes 2 nights in a row with getting bad sleep because kids waking up or something else, he'll go get a hotel to make sure he gets good sleep so that his performance doesn't plummet or anything. But I'm like, performance for what? It's not like you're competing in anything. You're not doing bodybuilding. So your kids are keeping you up, so you're just gonna leave and go get good sleep so that your wife can stay home and keep getting bad sleep? What in the world is that about? Which, as I'm saying, that's kind of funny because our kids do that to us, and I'm basically gone in a hotel while my wife's stuck at home with all the kids. But that's not really a choice I have because, it's part of my job. But I'm not going to purposely, if I get bad sleep at home, be like, hey, babe, peace out, I'll see you tomorrow, I'm gonna go get a hotel. That's a little bit over the top if you ask me. But let me know what kind of cardio you like doing. Have you noticed that your appetite goes up more if you do more intense cardio versus just walking? How often do you walk? How much do you walk every day? Again, I'm not saying walking's bad, but I'm just saying don't feel bad if you're like, oh gosh, I can't burn fat because I can't get in 14,000 steps. Like we said at the beginning, your diet is what matters in the end. If you just eat less, you're gonna lose weight. This just makes it happen faster, and it makes it easier if you have the ability. But hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe for more, and I'll see you soon.